Hey guys, it's Hades here and welcome back to another Redstone tutorial. Last episode I showed you guys the basics of Redstone and some of the inputs and outputs you can use in your circuits. But this episode I want to get a tiny bit more technical while still keeping it simple. But I just want to show you how to manipulate the redstone to do what you want it to do. So to start off, I got two very basic things here, two pistons. One's a sticky piston and one's a normal piston. Some of you might know how these work, but basically if I place blocks on top of these, and if I put them both up and down, you will notice that the sticky piston pulls the block with it. It'll push the block and pull it, while the normal piston doesn't. See? And you may think, what does that have to do with redstone? But this is a key part of tons of redstone circuits. So you needed to know this. It is actually really important, and I'll show you how to use it in a second. But as you can see, the sticky piston is just a normal piston with a slime ball on top of it. That's how you make the sticky pistons. Now I'll show you what this is actually useful for. If we just go ahead and put the piston facing this way, and we put a block there, and let's just say we have some power coming from a different circuit from this direction. It can be anything, put a lever there to light it up, you get the point. And then we have a continuing circuit over here. I'm just going to put a repeater down. Now, I actually should explain repeaters first, so let's quickly do that. If we go over to this part of the circuit, as some of you might have remembered that this was the distance that redstone could actually travel, so it could travel that amount of blocks. Let's go ahead and flick the lever, come down to the back here, let's extend it. As you can see, the redstone signal does not go this far, but let's go ahead and put a repeater in, and it extends the signal once again, so you can continue it on and keep going further distances without having another input. So that's extremely useful. And you can also change the delay here. It's got 4 different settings. Normal, 1, 2, 3, I call it. I don't know what the official name for it is, but basically that's the delay between when this lights up from when it got an input. So we can see it maybe just from back here. Yep, see how the end lights up at a different time? That's what the repeater does pretty much. Anyway, jump back over here to show you why pistons are a key part of these circuits. We could have this leading to a door. Just say it's a door. Yeah, let's just do that for now. And this is flicked on, but it's not doing anything to the door. That's because there's no block there. So that's when this comes in handy. So you can flick this lever, it'll push the block in front of that, which will then open the door. So that is extremely useful if you wanted to have... It's not really useful in this particular situation, but it also allows you to do a lot more. So you could have inputs coming off the other side as well. So like this. And there's a lot more, but I'm just sticking to the basics for now. So hopefully you understand why pistons are good. Let's go ahead and show you how we can actually use a piston in a real world situation. Let's go bam bam like that. And to power 2 pistons, the best way I would suggest, if you want to power them while they're stacked up like this, is just power the top one. Because if you power the top one, so if we have redstone going up here into the back of this one, it'll also power the bottom one. So let's go ahead and do that. Flick this. Bam! The piston's extended. Both of them did. We can actually forget about this circuit and let's just power it from here. Just to keep it simple so you guys don't get too confused. There we go. We can power both pistons. Just like that. But if this block wasn't here and we only powered the bottom piston, as you can see, only the bottom piston power is pretty simple. And if we wanted to power 3 pistons high, which is also fairly common, but not as common as 2 piston high, we should... What's the best way of doing that? Let's quickly just try and think of something. I reckon a redstone torch would be the best way of going about that. And you can power the back of this block. So you can either bring redstone up, like this, to power this block, and that'll turn off the torch. See? Just like that. When this is on, it gives this block power, and that turns off the torch. And if we flick it again, it'll turn it back on. Or an even simpler way of doing this would just be to put the lever straight on the block. You can turn it on and off like that, and that'll power those two. Because this circuit is exactly the same as when the redstone went up. But what I'm adding to this circuit to power all 3 is of course the block on top. Because the redstone torch is powering this one, which automatically powers the one below it. And now this redstone torch is powering this block, which is touching the piston, which also powers that. So just by flicking this on and off, we now have a 3-high wall of pistons. And if we put some blocks here, just like this, for example, bring it off the front here, bring this off the front here, pretend this is like a hidden entrance, you flick the lever and then, well, that was kind of a bit dodgy. It was meant to be the other way around. Dirt. Hades, idiot. There we go. So there's the secret entrance. You flick the door, bam, it opens up, you can walk through into your house. You just set up your own piston doors, pretty much. That's what that's used for. Alright, so what else did I want to cover? I reckon we should cover inverting signals. Because when you're doing long redstone circuits, sometimes you want the opposite of what it's doing. So when you have the lever switched on, you might want the piston to be off. So to do that, you would put the output a bit further away, and you would have it going into a block, and then you just put a redstone torch on the back of it. Now it inverts the signal. So if the signal is on, the output will be off. See? So the piston's off when this is on. But when this is off, the piston is on. So that's just inverting the signal, which is really useful for a lot of things that we'll see in future episodes. So make sure to subscribe to the channel if you want to keep watching them, because really, I'm not going to get into it that much this episode. You just need to understand the basics of inverting redstone. So if when the lever's on, you want it to be off, just invert it. GG, you're all good. Alright, so now we should probably talk about bringing redstone signals up. Of course you can build a big tower like this and just keep bringing it up and up, but it's really inefficient and doesn't allow much adjustability and not really compact. So the way I would suggest you do it is go ahead and bring it across to, say, a redstone block. Let's just quickly flick this, and you can see how the torch goes off. Because this block gets powered, so all the torches attached to it go off, just like that. And to bring the circuit up, we can just keep repeating that same pattern. So you go block, redstone torch, block, redstone torch, just like that. And then you can bring outputs out from anywhere here. So we can bring it out from here. So this would be off. Or we can bring it out from on top of the block here. And this would be the same thing. So you could just do that. Or if we wanted to bring a signal that was on even below it, we could do that as well. It's really adjustable. So you can bring it up with totally different signals. If we flip it again, see, it'll go to the opposite. Because this torch will turn off, which will turn that one on, which will turn that one off. We flick this one to turn it on, that one turns off, that one turns on. So now this circuit up here is lit up. And I'll just delete that real quick. And then if we flick the torch again, this one will be lit up. So it's a good way of rotating between different outputs. So if you want to be like, yep, I'll activate the top layers circuit. Bam, I'll activate the bottom layers circuit. Or you can just use it to bring the redstone signal up. Really efficient and compact. There's lots of different uses for this circuit. Alright. What else is there? We can talk a bit more about repeaters, I think. Let's go ahead and just set up a little circuit here. We will hook the repeater up to some redstone. Turn it on. We'll bring some redstone out the front here. We'll loop it around like that. I won't connect it yet though. What I'll do is I'll put a repeater here. Now, you may think that's pretty useless, but there is a mechanic built into the game which can lock repeaters. So what you want to do is put your redstone here and power it, and it will send a lock through here. See that? See that little obsidian lock there? You can still adjust the timings of it without really affecting it at all. It just replaces the texture of that second torch with a lock to indicate that it is now locked. So now that it is locked, you can see that this circuit's on, but even if we switch this off, it'll stay on, it'll keep its output. But if we turn this one off, it'll turn it off again, because it'll turn the lock off, and if the lock's off, it doesn't hold the input. So this is really, I've got to say, this is my favourite part of Redstone. Not many people use it, but I use it for everything. Every single circuit in Redstone, I have adapted to work with the Redstone Lock. Because in real life, it's equivalent to like holding an input. It's like a memory. It's it's really perfect for everything, really. Because look at this. Just say we have a button that whatever, and we could put a small delay on it and have it go back into this circuit, and that'll lock it a second later. So let's hook this up to a button. Let's go like this. Just like that. You got to turn this one off first, break the circuit. Oh, that's on, whoopsie. So like that. And that could lock that side of the circuit on, but then this side could still be left off to do whatever you want, without joining it to that one, of course. It's just a really good idea, and you'll see me using this a lot in future episodes. Just quickly change the time again. There we go. Alright. Now, there is another block into the game, which is fairly new. So you probably won't be able to find any tutorials about it on the internet yet, but the Redstone Block right here. If we go ahead and place this down, it works like a Redstone Torch, except with the properties of a block, pretty much. So we can bring redstone out of any side of this, just like that. Anything touching the block automatically gets powered, just like a redstone torch would. But the benefit of this one is that it can be moved by pistons. That's pretty much the only reason I use it, is because it can be moved by pistons, pretty much. Oh, well, it doesn't work like that, because it's actually powering the piston, but you get the point. It can be pushed by pistons if it's not being powered by it. So let's go ahead and hook this up. There we go. So we could have this pushed like that, and also pulled back if this was a sticky piston. So let's quickly switch that over. There we go. So that is the main reason. Oh, the main. Blah, 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 blah. Can't talk today. Well, that's the main reason I use redstone blocks. I know there's lots of other reasons, but redstone is such a big area. There's so many ways of doing... Is that serious? It started raining on me. Clear the weather. Alright. So there's so many different ways of doing it, and I prefer to use this method for pretty much everything. As you'll see in the future, I make my T flip-flops out of redstone locks instead of pistons. A lot of people make T flip-flops, which are a type of circuit, out of pistons, but I use redstone locks for everything, so I do things differently. And I just like it because it's really easy to make, and it's just more compact than the piston ones. And also pistons make noises, so I don't like the noises. This one's silent if you use it using that way. But yeah, pushing redstone blocks is extremely useful, and because you can't push redstone torches with pistons. I guess that's pretty much it for this episode. Is there anything else I wanted to cover? TNT. Yeah, let's quickly show you this. For those of you who don't know about it, you can explode TNT with redstone. Probably should have covered this as one of the outputs in previous episodes. But you can just be like, and just flick it. It's got to be a block higher. I knew that. Why did I do that? Let's just put it up like this. Let's use TNT as the block. Oh, we can't shift click on top of it. Are you kidding me? Pick up a dirt block. So hard to launch TNT these days. Anyway, you just got to power it like you would power anything else. Obviously putting it next to it doesn't work unless it's a direct input. So that'll work. So if I power that, see? And also if I power this one, that'll power all three at once. Oh, blown up. Bam, bam. They're gone. See you later. We blew up a little hole there. That was a really bad example of how to shoot TNT. I should probably do that again. Because I kind of failed that. And So, if you want to power one TNT at a time, it's the same as everything else. You got to bring redstone pointing directly into it. If you want to power a whole bunch of things in a row, you can either use repeaters like this. So you go repeater, non-repeater, repeater. Or, so that would power all of that if you lit up the circuit. Or a much easier way of doing it is just grabbing a block, deleting that, and putting redstone one higher. So just like this. And then, there we go. And then powering that'll work. And powering this will work. So they're the two different ways, guys. There we go. Let's just ruin the map for future tutorials. Anyway, guys, I really hope you enjoyed it and you learned some things. If you have any questions, make sure to post it in the comments below. And there'll probably be a few more episodes of the basics before I get on to actually how to make advanced circuits that you can actually use in your base or on your worlds. So make sure to start suggesting ideas for future tutorials as well. Anything you want to learn how to build, because we're getting to that stage now. You would be starting to understand how it all works, and I reckon we're ready, guys. So make sure to post in the comments what you want to see, how to build, and don't forget to chuck it a like if you enjoyed it, and I'll see you later.